Hi friends, this is Mrs. Morrow, the Library Media Specialist, and I am outdoors today to share our story called Where Once There Was a Wood by Denise Fleming. And I wanted to be outdoors today, even though it's a little bit chilly and some snowflakes are falling, because this book is in honor of Earth Day, which is Wednesday, April 22nd. And you'll notice in the lesson, there is a little bit of a special connection to Wisconsin, to Earth Day. It was actually started in Wisconsin. And also at the end of our lesson, I included a short video of 3 simple ways your family can make a difference and help the earth. So our story today is by Denise Fleming. A couple things we know about Denise Fleming is she is an author and illustrator, which means she writes both the words and makes the pictures. And Denise Fleming has a special paper making technique called pulp painting. And she takes little tiny pieces of cotton and mixes them with paint and then uses stencils to create her pictures, which is why they look fuzzy and furry, almost like we can touch them on the page. So while I'm reading the story, I want you to listen for the usual Denise Fleming techniques of rhyming and repeating, and also think about what her message is and how that might connect to Earth Day. Okay? Where Once There Was a Wood by Denise Fleming. So when I open the book, you'll notice some really cool end papers. You guys know I love to point out when the end papers are not just plain white, and these remind me of green grass that's all around me here. Where Once There Was a Wood by Denise Fleming. Where once there was a wood, a meadow, and a creek, and you can't see it, but way behind me back there, there is actually a little creek in my yard. Where once the red fox rested and closed his eyes to sleep. Where once the ferns unfurled and purple violets grew. Where once the woodchuck left his den to catch the morning dew. Ooh, I think I heard some rhyming, grew and dew. And this is the kind of dew like the wet moisture and droplets on plants and grass in the morning. Where once the horned owl hunted to feed her hungry brood. Her brood would be like her family. Where once the heron fished and speared his glittery food. Where once the brown snake slithered and slipped out of sight. And that's another thing we know Denise Fleming likes to do, is do that alliteration where she starts words the same because it's just more fun. Slithered and slipped and sight. Where once the raccoons rambled and rummaged in the night. Where once the berries ripened and waxwings came to feed. Waxwings would be the type of bird she has here. Where once the pheasants roosted and fed on nuts and seed. Ooh, I think I heard another rhyming. Seed and feed were rhyming. Where once there was a wood, a meadow, and a creek. Sit houses side by side, 20 houses deep. So boys and girls, what you might find interesting is that this book is actually in our nonfiction information section, because even though it kind of reads like a story, what Denise Fleming is trying to tell us is that we need to be careful about making sure we don't take all the animals' homes with our homes and our buildings and things like that. So at the end of this book, she has information about how you can create your own backyard habitats in animal homes, like a butterfly garden, for example. So even though this book looks and kind of sounds like a picture storybook, it actually is an information book that teaches us something about nature. So I hope you enjoyed our story today by Denise Fleming, Where Once There Was a Wood. And stay tuned for many more stories coming up in your lessons. And as always, keep reading.